And welcome back to the Marine Corps Movie Minute, where we break down movies of the Marine Corps 1 minute at a time. I'm Jack Perry, and with me tonight is, with every night, is Brian Lockhart. This week we are breaking down minute number 43 of Clint Eastwood's movie, Heartbreak Ridge. The opening minute has Gunny Highway talking to his lieutenant, and the end of the minute is the obligatory military obstacle course. Anyway, so hope everything's been good for you, Billy.
It's going.
So go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, no, man, I had nothing. I had nothing substantial to say.
No, me neither. Good thing we have a podcast.
That's right.
Well, we pick back up on minute 43 because minute 42 ended with Gunny speaking with Lieutenant Ring. Previously Gunny asked if he could freelance the men, and there was nothing on the training schedule, so he said he could, and he said, "Oh, I could join you," and Gunny deflected and said, "No, sure you're busy." Of course, this is when our minute picks up when he said, "Yeah, actually, yeah, he's quite busy because he's preparing a paper on tactics and strategy for the War Club seminar next week." And he's like, "Fascinating stuff." But when he does that, he picks up a thumbtack. He's kind of giddy explaining to Gunny what he's working on,
Yeah.
and he absentmindedly pricks himself with a pin or a tack or something like that and goes,
Yeah.
"Ow."
Yeah.
And the whole time, Gunny's face is just like, "Holy shit, look at this clown."
Yeah. Yeah.
But because it's a superior officer and he's actually asking to do something outside the norm, so he's not trying to shit all over him. So
Yeah.
he's kind of humoring him and keeping his comments to himself, as you can see.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We know kind of all know how the end of the movie goes. I mean, as many times as we've seen it. However, out of all the officers so far, Lieutenant Ring is one of the ones that I kind of like. He's one of those that he means well. He just doesn't know any better, you know.
Right. He said, Major Powers told you or not, but I was the commanding officer of my ROTC detachment in college.
Yeah.
And he's very pleased with himself when he's saying that. And
Yeah.
Gunny's thinking about how to answer that. He goes, "Well, I'll sleep better at night, sir, just knowing that." And he's so pleased, he kind of perks up and he's like, "Thank you." Like that meant so much to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gunny's just humoring him.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. What school did you go to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Heartbreak Ridge.
Heartbreak Ridge. Yep. I think that's the first. Of course, that's the name drop of the movie.
Right.
I think that's the first real
Mention.
yeah, because the only thing they mentioned previously was that he was in for 24 and some change, and we just did the math based on the time frame that
Right.
how I could have put him there. But also, Sergeant Major Chuzu said he had a tour in Korea, but no specifics.
No.
This is the first specific mention of something that he was a part of.
Right. Which apparently was a big enough deal that Gunny seems to believe that was his school.
Oh yeah,
his big time learning lesson.
we'll get into details about the battle. We've already discussed it kind of when we looked at the opening credits
Right.
when they had the Korean War footage. But we might get into either reiterate some of that or get more details. Hopefully, we'll have some more research about that when we get deeper into the movie, because this is only the first mention of it. We will learn more about that battle
Yes.
and Gunny's exploits in that.
Yep.
But just offhand, Heartbreak Ridge was a real battle in Korea. As we stated, that was it was an army campaign. But I found out it's also known as the Battle of Wendigali, and it's near Choron, just north of the 38th parallel in Korea. So I didn't know if that was like, it was unclear if that battle was also known as, Wendiganali or whatever, because that's what the Chinese called it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like from their perspective, they don't call it Heartbreak Ridge.
No.
So I'll be curious if we find anything more about that for later minutes. But I just thought
Yeah.
that was interesting.
It's kind of funny too. I mean, you think about World War One wasn't really called World War One until after.
No, they totally knew there was going to be a sequel, so they
Yeah. Yeah. No. We gotta. This is the first of many.
Yeah, no, that they were totally, it was like world building, kinda like when, the new franchise movies have to set up
Mhm.
the sequel.
Yep, yeah, but you know there's another one coming because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just left it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, like Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2,
Yeah,
Hunger Games,
yeah. World War One, World War Two.
World War II, yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, 'cause, when they first they were testing the war to end all wars,
yeah,
that was too finite, there wasn't any real franchise opportunities there, so they decided,
yeah. There's like, no, we can. The licensing rights alone will make you rich beyond your wildest dreams.
right, and not the everybody has 3 mortgages nowadays. I grew up in that home. Well, and not to make light of it, but, the Korean War is almost kinda like Solo, the Star Wars story of the Star Wars universe. It's kind of the forgotten,
Yeah,
franchise war. It's like
yeah,
they're trying to expand into something different, nobody really went for it,
yeah.
nobody remembers it.
Which is a shame too.
Yeah, it is. It is called the Forgotten War in all seriousness. But, again, more on that later if we choose to speak about it. I
Yep.
had a question though about, I wonder what this war club seminar that he's going to, is this something outside of base? Is this something on base that just some of the officers do?
I don't know, man. That's kind of like that officer voodoo shit where they get together and read books.
Yeah.
It's probably something like that where they get in there and dress up all pretty.
Yeah, like Oprah's book club and,
Yeah, yeah. They go in there and there's some dude in a smoking jacket, reading like excerpts from like Art of War, and then they just sit around and discuss you know tactics. I don't know, man. We had working parties. So,
Right.
yeah, we had to go pick up trash and shit.
Well, I did find an article it's called War on the Rocks. And it's Welcome to the Fight Club, Wargaming of the Future. And it's they talk about calling it Fight Club, and it's basically the U.S. Marine Corps, in partnership with networks that includes the U.S. Army and multiple agencies in the DoD. They've created a place where top officers go to fight each other, and not physically.
That would
Because
be awesome.
exactly, that would be great. And test how emerging technologies alter warfighting. There are winners or losers, and most importantly, this initiative, dubbed Fight Club, allows participants to talk openly, improvise. It doesn't say adapt and overcome, but
Hmm.
improvise, identify new concepts and capabilities, requirements, and hone their operational judgment. So there is like this. I mean, obviously, there's a big push to do war games, basically, and I mean, obviously, I think something that they're referring to is on a much smaller scale.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to go, what do you think Lieutenant Ring meant in this, and then Google it. So, this is something I
yeah.
came across from just last year, and I just thought it was interesting, so I just figured I'd mention it.
Well, that's kind of interesting too. That when you think about, like I imagine some of that could probably be like taking off the shelf components and then building weapons out of them and then countering. Like, how would you counter somebody doing this? Like making a little drone, an explosive device,
Yeah.
and then try to counter all of that with, like the same kind of logic. Like, how would you put this together? Like, you're not gonna be able to stop it. So how would you counter it, or how would you deal with it in theater?
Well, without getting too deep into the argument, article, I was I kind of speculate there'll be a lot of using computer strategy, almost like a command and conquer type thing,
Oh,
where,
okay, yeah,
like, all right, if let's say so and so invades this country, what do we do? Like that type
gotcha,
of thing.
yeah,
A lot of operational manual type stuff, or simulations. That's what I'm trying to say, like battle
yeah,
simulations. I could see a lot of that using modern technologies, or also looking at how modern technologies might affect fighting as far as cyber attacks,
yeah.
just or
Oh,
taking out infrastructure, but in a technological way and not in a bombing type of way. Stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I just That's interesting. One other thing that Lieutenant Ring mentioned was being part of ROTC, and I was a little interested in what ROTC is. ROTC, for those who are not aware, is Reserve Officer Training Corps. It's a college program offered at more than 1,700 colleges and universities across the United States, and it prepares young adults to become officers in the U.S. military. In exchange for paid college education and a guaranteed post-college career, participants or cadets commit to serve in the military after graduation. Each service branch has its own version of ROTC. The Marines are kind of attached to the Navy, being a department of the Navy, so
Yeah.
they have their own ROTC, but it kind of falls under the naval ROTC. I think the Marines are limited even to 36, I think it said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, a much smaller organization too.
correct. Yeah, it's definitely 36. So, it basically just said aspiring Marine Corps officers can also participate in Navy ROTC. The ROTC academic curriculum for a Marine Corps options student requires class in national security policy and the history of American military affairs in addition to the regular academic requirements for the student's degree. So they just do things a little bit different, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was just, a little curious about the Marines. You must be a U.S. citizen, 17 years old, but you can't be older than 23. You have to meet all the Marine Corps physical requirements and obtain a basic SAT combined score of 1,000 or 22 composite score on the ACT. And then recipients of the scholarship will be able to fully experience everything college. Blah, 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 blah. What we challenge you to earn: tuition to one of the approved NROTC colleges and universities in 36 states. So yeah, for the Marine Corps options, narrowed down to 36. Spend your first 2 summers learning about Navy and the United States Marine Corps, and the privilege to spend your third summer attending Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. It sounds like well,
Sounds like fun. It's boot camp, motherfucker.
yeah, right. It's officer boot camp.
Yeah, you're going. You're. Oh, oh shit. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this sounds like fun. Like this is like a what are those European study over abroad trips? No, not really.
What do you go about, like a 10 to 12 week program where I get
Yeah.
come out of lean mean?
Fight machine. Yeah. No, you're gonna get yelled at by some fucking pissed off staff NCO.
This is just funny about this because I looked. It was under like Marines.com or whatever, and it was like almost like a recruiting option. So it
Yeah.
sounds like this does sound like a brochure you would send your kid to college.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we got all the
Yeah.
opportunities here, and
Yeah. They're gonna pay for your school. Yeah. Well, these days though, man, that wouldn't be such a bad idea, because it's as expensive as tuition and shit is.
yeah. Well, that's why some people join.
Yeah.
Or if you ever, it's also not a bad way. Yeah, like you said, it's not a bad way to get through college. Some
Yeah.
people go the enlisted route and then in hopes to get the GI Bill or the at the very least the college fund. Well, the GI Bill, then maybe the college fund even, and use it afterwards. These
Yeah.
guys, want to go in as, officers, and you get your college paid for up front.
Right. So we were cryptologists. We, by all measures, we were the smart Marines. I left college to go in the Marine Corps and never went back. Crayon eater the whole way.
Yeah, I saw some stat one time that they said that like in order to get to do the job that we did, our ASVAB score was like higher than like at least 90%, if not higher than your average Marine. And I was like, holy shit! You look at what dummies we work with,
Yeah, no.
including us.
Yeah.
And it's like, what does that say for the rest of us?
Yeah.
There's a
Ooh.
reason why we're known to eat crayons.
Oh, but we are fun at a party.
As far as the minute before we leave the Lieutenant Ring's office and Gunny's facial expressions,
Yeah. Yeah.
he did you notice he snarls his lips at one point? He does like
Yeah.
a lip curl after Lieutenant Ring tricks his finger. He just like, what? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Completely unimpressed.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's barely able to contain. But there was a couple things about Lieutenant Ring. I noticed he's wearing his class ring because it's on his
Yep.
right hand. And he's also, I think he does have silver bars and not gold. So I do think he's a first lieutenant.
Yeah. You are correct, sir.
Although he does play more, he acts like more of a boot. Like it would have made more sense the way they're having him act.
Yeah.
That he would be a just fresh out of officer candidate school, and this is his first duty station. But
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, it actually would be his first duty station. So every Marine officer coming out of OCS has to spend their first tour under as a infantry officer. So this would have been his first. This would have been his first like post school
Mm.
duty station, or his first gig. No matter what his MOS is, this would have been the first thing that he would have gotten stuck doing.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I dabbled with wanting to go to become an officer for a little while. I think, long time ago.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
No, it wouldn't. That would have been bad.
Well, you could just say yes sir, no sir, fuck you sir a lot, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, no, fuck me, fuck you.
I do wonder what college Lieutenant Ring went to. Not that it matters, because he's got his old, unless that's his OCS ring, you know.
That could be.
Because I mean I got a, I didn't get a high school class ring. I got a boot camp graduation ring that I still have.
Do you?
Yeah, I still have it. Spoiler alert, doesn't fit. Yeah, I got it still.
Oh shit, man! I'm trying to remember. Did I actually get one or not?
Yeah, I got all the boot shit, dude.
I may. I don't remember if I did or not. I've had so many things over the years. I know I had a class ring, and that disappeared
Yeah.
many years ago. But I don't remember if I did or I think I may have had a ring, but I don't remember if it was a boot camp ring or not.
Hmm.
It also disappeared. Yeah, so whatever.
Yeah.
Back to nobody cares.
Right. So before we leave, I noticed we actually, when we were reviewing the minute, you could hear a lot of trucks pulling away and like the engine starting up and pulling away while these two are talking.
Yeah, and you hear not really yelling, but you hear some like other noise in the background, like some activity. So I wondered if this might have been like some soundtrack for like his guys getting loaded up on a damn 5 ton to go out someplace to do this trading.
Well, it is I mean, first off, it's very possible that the base still was operating, and yeah, they were like what a 5 ton drove off, and
Yep.
uh, or whatever vehicle it was at the time, and somebody's yelling at their men to form up or whatever. But
Yep.
when we hear the like the yelling, I actually think that's part of the soundtrack as a transition to the next scene.
Ah,
As Gunny turns back and says Heartbreak Ridge, and Lieutenant Ring is confused and said, Heartbreak Ridge. I've never heard of that college.
right. Yeah.
Never heard of that school. It fades from him going back to his work to
To
the
this.
this looks like the part of the confidence course and not the obstacle course.
So, man, I couldn't tell you. So when I was in, it was right before the Crucible, where we helped kind of build the Crucible. I don't think I ever actually saw an O course at Pendleton.
They have it because I found a video of it on
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
Yeah, I specifically wanted to see the obstacle course at Pendleton, and they showed a guy going through it, but it doesn't look like this one. This actually doesn't look like the confidence course or the obstacle course. The traditional what you think of is either one. It could have
Right.
been part of it. And yeah, this is obviously before the Crucible was, ever even imagined. I looked up a video of the obstacle course, and I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but this, remember this is a grunt unit,
Yeah.
infantry. They could have extra stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of land there on that base.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that, but it's what is it? Monkey bars. So what do you see? As we're going through it, let's just go back. As soon as the scene starts with the men on let's just call it the obstacle course for now.
Right.
It is not the official obstacle course. You see Marines waiting, and they jump over a barrier. They jump
Hmm.
over a ditch.
Yep. Some logs.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. They're running over some logs that are over a ditch,
Hmm.
and then you see some monkey bars, and I can't remember. Do we call them something different than monkey bars?
Mm-mm, no.
I didn't think so, but I was like, this
Um.
probably had some stupid name for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see Lance Corporal Fraghetti going across the monkey bars, and then he goes across another set of raised logs where he almost falls, and he kind of uses all four of his appendages
Mhm.
to keep going. And then we see Stitch Jones and Quinones jumping over the parallel bars.
Yep.
They're just logs. They're kind of like parallel bars, and as Stitch is going over, he's right next to Gunny, and he's keeping like a watchful eye on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut back to a quick bit of more log running, and we see Stitch Jones trying to attempt a rope swing over the like a small water barrier.
Yeah.
Just falls directly into the pit, and
Yeah. He falls. What I find funny is that Southern California is a pretty dry place. The fact that this pit has any water in it at all is suspect.
well, I wonder if they were trying to do more of a North Carolina thing because, like, I was comparing some videos
Uh,
of the confidence course in Paris Island versus Camp Pendleton.
yeah.
And I was watching recruits fall into the water on one of the what do they call it, like the slide for life or something.
Oh yeah.
So in Paris Island they had water that you could fall into, and it was fenced off, and they told us it was the reason that fence was there because if you fall in it you might get killed by an alligator if it wasn't for that fence. Whether or not that's true, probably is.
It probably could be.
Yeah. So, but then I was watching a video of showing how the recruits would do the confidence course, Slide for Life in Pendleton, and there was no water anywhere. They had a rope safety net underneath, you know,
Ah.
and they showed one of the DIs how the correct way to fall if you were going to fall. So yeah, I mean this could be a little bit of business, but when Stitch lands in the water, he
He
literally
lays.
lays there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes in and pulls him up and just by his coattail there, his collar, just walks him out.
Get your ass out of this water.
Now you made a comment offline about their haircuts being long still.
Yeah. Yeah. Stitch didn't look like he got his hair cut like he was supposed to. Actually, none of them really do look like they got their actual haircut. Not during this scene, anyway.
That's correct. I was going to note that. That was one of my notes and questions for you is do you think this is the same day from last minute when it was 5 p.m. at night, but it was supposed to be like 9 a.m.?
Ooh, yeah, that's very interesting. That is a very good question. It sounds like this might actually be the same day.
Yeah, because I mean, the timeline could work. He had them fall out in the morning.
Right.
He ran them. Who
Yep.
knows what I mean, clearly they must have come back because they were in PT gear then. They come
Yeah.
back, they get he tells them to get changed, go to chow, whatever. Who
Right.
knows, And then he went to Lieutenant Ring and asked to freelance them and cut to this is what they're doing for the day. Now they're in camp, and they're camis.
Yeah.
So it could be the same day because they all have the long haircut still.
Yep. One of the things that I'm noticing too, and I'm not sure if it's because they're doing the O courses,
Hmm.
but yeah, they're doing it all in camis, which is cool. We did ours in camis. I don't remember if we wore our blouses or not. But you notice how they're going between sleeves up and sleeves down? Like that's kind of a no-no.
Um,
I wonder if it's because of this.
I don't see anybody with sleeves up.
No, but they're all sleeves up in Lieutenant Ring's office.
Ah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Now, there has been times like when you go to the what is that place called?
The gas chamber?
The gas chamber where you keep your sleeves down, even though it's
Yeah.
sleeves up to yeah, you know what? That's a good catch from one scene to the next. My guess is that's just a continuity error. They're outside. It might have even been a little cold. And so
Yeah.
this is what the uniforms were at the time. But yeah, everybody because Sergeant Major Chuzu and Major Powers both had their sleeves rolled up in the later scenes.
Yeah, which is usually done
Earlier.
during the summer months.
Yep. And actually that's another thing. We know this is July. I'm guessing they just made a choice. I don't remember when they filmed this. It could have been early in the year.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, this is sleeves down time, so all the Marines in the background running through it have sleeves down.
Yeah.
But for movie purposes, it's sleeves up. Who knows?
Yeah.
The other thing is when we did a lot of the confidence course, I don't really recall ever wearing your cami blouse. Usually you took your blouse off and just
Yep.
had I don't recall having a cover. No cover and usually no blouse. Now,
Yeah.
again, if this is a colder time of the year, they might have had them keep it on.
Or sweatshirts.
Do you have much else for this minute?
No, no, and no, I think we beat this one to death.
Because really the end of the confidence course is
Pretty much the end
really
of the minute. Yeah.
yeah, because going into the next minute, it's not even half a second we see it. So it's basically this minute ends and we start a new scene next minute.
Cool.
What college did you go to, Perry?
Texas State Technical Institute for Graphic Arts.
Funny, I'd never heard of that college.
Neither did most people.
Huh.
Dick. I should have known where you were going with this. Somebody wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, let's have everybody come back for minute 44 on Wednesday.